Welcome to Leaders in Light, Love, and Legacy. We're airing every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fave Unite Radio. So now is it good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, and maybe to some of you, good night. Welcome. Always welcome here. I am Joy Ruffen, your minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakenings. And your signature style, not mine, yours, and leadership specialist, your leadership. This is a space where bold conversations ignite because we focus on power, presence, purpose, and the beautiful balance. Balance is the key word of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, because we carry, no matter the gender, both within our DNA. And we're here to explore how to align them fully. Balance. Remember that word. Each week, I will bring you a dynamic guest speaker. And the first of every month, I'll be doing a solo, which is what I'm doing tonight, this afternoon, today, whatever it might be where you are with you. Because we're going to bring you fresh wisdom, fierce insights, and unapologetic truth to the table, your table. Oh, if you're craving more style, more depth, more purpose, you've landed in the right place. I'd love it if you would visit my website at joyruffen.com, and that's Ruffen with an E, not an I. And make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Fashioning Femininity, Style, and Truth. We end with that word truth because this is what we're going to be talking a lot about. And when I come to you in a solo conversation, it's going to be a lot about that. Oh, some of you will love and agree, and some of you will say, nope, I don't think so. This is the beauty of life, your calling. Because the conversation will continue and the inspiration will never end. So now, my beloved eagles, buckle in, get comfortable, and get ready to soar. Because my beloved League of Eagles, you know I've given you that name for a reason. Get comfortable and get ready to soar. Because we're going to step into today's conversation. And because I'm new here with you as a solo, I want to share with you a little bit about my background. It's the fashion industry, starting out as we taught. Of course, I exaggerate to make points. I love fashion. But more important, style, signature style, yours, the development and discovery of that. And then I became a little bit jaded and I left the fashion industry and went into the commercial insurance business, which wasn't for me at all. And I navigated back to the fashion industry, which is where I'm at now, along with leadership. And you know, from head to toe, top to bottom, hair to shoes, everything about us speaks to who we are. So I'm going to be bringing you all kinds of different conversations. And this one, some of you are going to turn away. Many of you, maybe most of you. But I refuse to step back. I'm moving forward, riding the wave. This conversation with you will be all about foul language and graceful, expressive alternatives. Because my eagles, this is a call for you, me, all of us to rise. We live in a time where speaking crudely has become synonymous with being real. Now that's a bold statement. I realize that. Because where cursing loud is often praised as bold and brave, it's not really. Here's the truth that rarely gets said. Realness doesn't require rage. Power doesn't need profanity. And freedom isn't found in four-letter words. It's found in how you choose to carry your voice through the world. Today, we're going to explore more than just language. We're going to examine the entire cultural shift that has normalized vulgarity and mistaken it for empowerment, especially among women. And here, when I meet and greet with you, it will always be about the three industries that I love, adore, no longer idolize them, but that's the fashion and style industry, a gigantic one, the entertainment, and the communications. We're going to walk through what I call the foul four, and we'll offer alternatives, expressive, elegant, and deeply impactful. But more importantly, we're going to talk about the deeper issues at play. Some of you are not going to want to hear this. Maybe most of you, maybe some. How and why have we glamorized the female form while neglecting the divine voice and the power it carries? Because my eagles, my sisters, we are more than what I call the top B and the bottom B, or what's between our legs. I'm not working to be diplomatic here. I often call it the two B's and the V, as in Victor, you know what I mean. Let's begin with the most infamous of them all, the four-letter word that explodes from our mouths, sometimes, oftentimes, much too often here of late, in this casual mode that we're all living in. It's used in frustration. It's oftentimes used with humor, rebellion, and emphasis. But ask yourself, when did rage become our rhythm? When did yelling become the only way we're heard? True power whispers and still commands the room. You don't need to scream foul language to be seen. Expletives. Instead of that letter that starts with the letter F as in Frank, try, what on earth? Seriously now? Or what the blazes? Some of you are saying, well, that's old fashioned. That's a little outdated. That's back in the day. That's old school. Yes, it is. But remember, we have another generation around us, even if you are in the younger generation. And what we say and how we say it, it still matters. Each phrase carries its own spice, but not at the expense of our dignity. Because when you choose elevated language, you're declaring something bold. You're saying, I value myself and I value those around me. Next up is that slippery slope second word that oftentimes, because every now and then we all slip, we're not attempting here to be Mother Teresa, a saint or a martyr or model of excellence or goody two-shoes. Far from it. But next up on the slippery slope, sometimes we all slip and I get carried away and I spell it out. S-H-I-T. A word that leaks out during mistakes, stumbles, or spilled coffee moments. But if we refrain and step back, we could use other words. Old-fashioned, outdated, maybe, but maybe not. Try shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, my goodness. Crude. Oh, my goodness. That bothersome. You're still expressing the emotion, but you're not muttering your energy. It's not about being polite. It's about being powerful on purpose. Let's not forget the other word, woohoo. It's an easy one because Depending on what circle you're in, it's used all the time. It starts with the letter H as in Harry. Hell. Shouted in moments of disbelief or bitterness. But we can still capture fire without setting everything ablaze. Say blazes or mercy me. Oh, mercy me. Isn't that an old one? Of course it is. Or heavens to Betsy. They may sound charming, even a bit dramatic, old school, old fashioned back in the day. But maybe we need to be more so. Drama with grace is still called style. Remember, we're throwing out the dreck. By the way, a short little brief story which I hope you'll enjoy. As a young girl, when I first entered the fashion industry, I was embraced and taken under the wings of a really phenomenal male and female in the fashion industry in New York City. A lovely Jewish couple who took me under their wings, and I learned a lot of their favorite expressions. So now I use the word dreck. A lot of dreck is out here. You can get away from the garbage and the trash and the waste and the junk that's out here. You can stand tall in who you are now. And we can arrive at a higher realm. I want you to be thinking about a ladder. A ladder that, no matter what height it is, it has the different levels, the different steps. Most all of us start, no matter who we are and what we're about, at the bottom level. But we rise and we continue to escalate, especially if you're in the League of Eagles. And you might feel when you're in the process of getting your stuff together that you're better. And if that's the case, you need to go back down to the bottom of the ladder and start up again, because no one is better than anyone. Let me qualify that and say that again, because we all need to hear this. Because oftentimes when people began to become successful, make money, and have a different sense of aesthetics and education, they began to think they're better. No, they've had more benefits. They've had more advantages, more opportunities that they've taken advantage of. Or maybe they were given to them at birth. The reasons are numerous and never ending, but never ever better. You're just at a different strata, a different level. And that said, because I'm all about female empowerment, always knowing that we need each other, meaning the male and female needs to be in one way or another aligned and have balance. So we arrive at this word which unnerves me. Not that it's about me, but I want you to give it some thought. It's spelled B-I-T-C-H. Now, I said some time ago, and a friend said to me, no, it didn't start there. But I remember when Zumba first became popular. I'm not going to name the song because I'm not about throwing shade or being judgmental, but I thought for a moment, oh, no. I was out on the floor doing my Zumba dance, and I loved the beat and the rhythm of the music, and it was very popular back in the day. I assume that it still is today because it's a great song to dance on. But then I heard the lyrics, and he said, "You are the hottest, B-I-T-C-H, in the room." My goodness, is that supposed to be a compliment? And now we arrive at this word that's both an insult to our identity. A word that women have tried to maybe reclaim and even wear it as a badge of honor. But heed and listen to me carefully, my eagles. Anything born in shame, get the meaning of the words as I say them here. cannot crown your power. That's not to say that you can't claim it, but it can't crown your power. I'm going to leave you with my semantics of words. Yes, you are strong, you are fierce, and you are fearless. But your strength deserves better than a word designed to reduce and ridicule your greatness, your gift, and your genius. Try instead, what a powerhouse, a bold beauty, a firebrand, or the one I personally love. You're gonna love this too. An empress, EMPRESS, because that is what we are when we talk and walk with awareness in our own indelible style. There's so many words that I'll be speaking with you about as we move forward here, but lastly, the one that I want to speak to is another one that aligns with the word that's spelled HELL. It's DAMN. It sneaks in. They all do when we're frustrated or overwhelmed. But you don't need to DAMN your day to get through it. Try drat, blast it, or confound it. Oh yes, they're old school. They're old fashioned. They're back in the day. You can maybe create new ones that are more complementary, but you can express heat and still hold your harmony, your grace, and your power. Because our language should never cost us our light. Remember that we're talking about leaders in light, love, and legacy, which is what you are, my eagles. Now let's go a little bit deeper, because I want you to be thinking about that ladder and the different levels from the bottom to the top. And if you don't know, you know now, because I will be repetitive each and every time I come to you. I leave you with food for thought and homework. This isn't just about vocabulary. This is about the language of identity. The culture we live in doesn't just sexualize women. It practically worships the body while silencing the spirit. Let me say that again in a more precise, concise way. This culture that we live in today, with this casual mode that we're in, it worships the body while it silences our spirits. Because it's like many of us are walking and being seen in the nude. We've been sold the idea that our worth is tied to the way we look, the way we move, or the way we perform for others. The top B, the bottom B, and the V are praised, sold, showcased, and yet the voice, the wisdom, and the essence behind all of that is truly ignored. And I say this to say to you that dressing well, I heard this from someone that if you're not familiar with him, we lost him a couple of years ago, I think. But here was a giant in the fashion industry. And his saying resonated to the marrow of my bones. And I hope that you will embrace, embody, and instill it within your being. Because my work as a signature style specialist, which means your style and your special way of dressing that showcases you in the best way. We go back to the rebirth, the re-beginning, the re-everything. He said dressing well ought to be our moral code. And you'll hear me speaking quite a bit as we move forward about our moral compass. And the guy who said that said we need to, ought to, should, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I love those words because we all embrace them from time to time. We make excuses. He said, keep it polished, even if it's casual. And that was Andre Leon Talley. Let me spell out his name for you, and I want you to Google him because most people in the fashion industry praised him, but a lot of them, they maligned him. They gave him every ugly synonym that you can think of because when he was tall and thin and when he started out in the fashion industry, but then down the road, which happens to many, as he began to age and who knows what, I don't make excuses for him, but when he gained weight and became a whole different kind of person, they began to call him a gorilla. Horrible, horrible. But this is what people do when they have no awareness of who they are. Remember, I'll always come to you saying, know thyself. Know who you are. Love who you are from head to toe, hair to shoes, top to bottom. And that's why I want you to look up Andre, A-N-D-R-E, Leon, L-E-O-N, Talley, T-A-L-L-E-Y. He was a character. He was a phenomenal. He was a giant to be reckoned with. You will see him, and maybe you won't see and feel, but if you begin to look and review and look back, you'll see why he was a giant among the people that he was working with. Divine femininity is not a performance. We're praised for being sexy, but not sacred. For being bold, but not balanced. For being loud, but not light-filled. And that stops here and now with you, me, all of us. I'm repeating myself, and I do that often. Divine femininity is not a performance. It's not about being provocative. It's about being present, rooted, aware. And aware women do not speak in ways that diminish themselves. Another word that I'm overly not fond of, and yet I understand why so many women are using it. I remember back in the day, any of you out there remember back in the day, old school, old fashioned? Gloria Steinem, who started the women's movement. And at that time, a lot of women were burning their bras and walking around and getting into leadership roles and attempting to do it like men. No. That's not divine femininity. And aware women do not speak in ways that diminish themselves. Again, awakened women do not reduce themselves to vulgarity for the sake of attention. We're not looking for cheap applause. We're building legacies. Think about how often have you swallowed your elegance just to fit in? How often have you felt the pressure to curse, to be heard, to be cool, to be real? Pause. That's not real. That's rehearsed. That's what the world told you was powerful. That's what you see, hear, and witness now. But my eagles, I hope that now you're beginning to know better. And as someone wise, beautiful, and gifted, Maya Angelou once said, when you know better, you do better, you rise. I added that. And let me tell you why. Because my eagles, the reality is that when it comes to how you show up and how you stand in your power and own who you are, dressing well, even in this casual mode, is still important. You can still be casual and dress. I want you to be thinking about and do your own research, gather together your own facts, and look to these two vastly different, I should say, well, I'll give you three. The lady who bought slacks, pants, trousers into the fold. Someone had did it before, but she really commercialized it and put it into the stratosphere. Coco Chanel, who still today, regardless to what you have to say about her politics, she allowed women to be aware that they could still be dressed in slacks, pants, and trousers and be elegant, sophisticated, and stylish. And then we've had many others come along during the time. that we've all been here on the planet, no matter your generation. But I want to bring another beautiful soul into the equation. And I want you, my hope and my desire is that you will do your own research. Sarah Blakely, Blakey, I think that's how she spells it. She designed and put into the stratosphere Spanx. I understand why, and I know why. But when I say to you today, many women, regardless to their status, whatever strata they're in, educational, money, power, it started with showing back in the day, way back, the décolleté, the bust. Now it's the backside. And Sarah Blakely with her Spanx has really put it out in the market. It's like many of us are walking around in the nude. That's what it amounts to. Showcasing that bottom B like it's a prize. I want you to step back and think, when did that become the modus operandi? Because now we have the top B and the bottom B showcase where that's our sexuality. And you know, I know, we all know, I love Dr. Seuss, that it is not the end-all be-all of who we are. This programming and conditioning that we as women have gone through, it's time for us to do, as one of my many friends said, reset, re-everything, reprogram, recondition, rebirth, revitalize, reclaim our God-given power. That innate power within is not borderline or bordering on our sexuality. Yes, it is a part of us. And language is a part of us and how we project and showcase it. The new voice of power is going to be precise, poetic, and potent. This eagle, this leading lady, she doesn't shout. She speaks. She doesn't mimic what she sees that everyone else is doing and what they're about. She embodies the truth of who she is here to be. She does not need the foul four. I'm just using four, the four that I mentioned to you earlier, because they are the main ones. She doesn't need those to feel, F-E-E-L, fierce. Because her words, your words, my eagles, are flames wrapped in wisdom. Remember, you are the gatekeeper. You are the way shower. And you know that you are part of this massive collective. But you're here with a purpose, and that's to showcase the beauty, the wisdom, and the love of you to all that you encounter. So what do we do now? Where do we begin? I didn't label myself the minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakenings just out of the blue. It came to me in a dream. Oh, I'm having a great guest next week who's going to be talking a lot about dreams. Dreams are powerful. You know how many creative innovations have come to us, all of us, no matter the generation, because they had a dream or seed thought that was permeated in the dream and began to embody their essence? That's what's going to happen for many of you and me, for all of us. We are going to begin to be more aware of our surroundings, who we are, why we're to be here, What are we to do? We're going to start listening to ourselves more. We're going to begin to observe our words that tumble out unconsciously. Let me share this with you. Being raised and entertained by the entertainment industry back in the day, Hollywood and the fashion industry and the communications industry, that was stellar, truly stellar back in the day. So many who are at the realms at the head have dropped the ball. They have gone off the rails deep, much too deep into the matrix, where this politically correct has shifted into the stratosphere, and so much is condoned and accepted and embraced for all the reasons that don't add up. We're not here to judge, but we do feel, we do see, we hear, and we notice things. And when we're honest and true with ourselves, then we began the shift. We began to upgrade, to elevate. It's a practice. It's a beginning. It's a language. You hear so many of the comedians and the entertainers, the stars, the celebrities, the influencers. I could go on and on and on. They use foul language, swearing, cursing, potty language, as if it's a badge of honor. What's happening to us? Allow me to say that again. I'm going to be judged. That's okay. I can deal with that. But what's happened to us? The more you train yourself to become stronger and to be wiser in selection of your words, the better off we're all going to be. The more you make it personal with creativity, love, beauty, and the lightness and the wisdom of you, you're going to begin to create your own elevated language lexicon, your dictionary, your way with words, a little sacred dictionary of words that reflect your divine essence. You're going to begin to share it. Hopefully, you're going to join and collaborate with all the others in the community as you teach your daughters, your sisters, and your friends the beauty of this language. How are you going to normalize the elegance of the language? And I'm not talking about it has to be somewhat proper grammar English, but the beauty of the language. You're going to make it fashionable again. Because when elegance becomes the new rebellion, we finally start building a world we want to live in, and you want to raise your kids in, and you want to be a part of the communities that you're a part of and you live in. So my Eagles, allow me to leave you with this. Some of you will say, well, she's a bit prudish, a bit too pristine and prissy for me. That's your choice. The beauty of this country, this US of A, and this global world that we're in is we have choices. Proper, classy, fancy, ritzy, posh unnerves a lot of people, but not you. We're not here to be reduced to stereotypical thinking, slogans, or sound bites. We are here to embody the full spectrum of who we are, our divine femininity, aligned with our divine masculine. We're seeking the balance. We're here to be powerful, intelligent, intuitive, fierce, and yes, graceful. Shall I repeat that? We are here to be the divine feminine and the divine masculine that we are, because we are powerful, We are intelligent. We are intuitive, fierce, and yes, grateful, graceful, and grateful. We're not here to fit in. We are completely out of the box, off the rails in the best way, deep into the matrix, but in the best way. We are here to lead, my eagles. You're not here to settle in and become part of the masses, even though you are. You are here to be the leaders, and leaders do not speak like the masses. They elevate the conversation. You are an eagle. Nothing wrong with the latter when you begin to think of all the beautiful birds. I happen to love birds. The pigeons, the doves, the nightingales, the hummingbirds, the mockingbirds, the bluebirds, go on and on and on. You're here to be an eagle. You're at the top of the food chain, but you don't have a humongous ego that's out of place. That ego is full of love and humility and grace and dignity. Leaders do not speak like the masses. They elevate the conversation. So my League of Eagles, let's rise above the noise. Let's speak as if every word we say matters. Let's you and I, we, all of us, bring back the art of conversation. I'm calling out to all the church people, especially the church ladies, the spiritual leaders, the gurus, and all of those who have that extra gift. I call it the X factor. Let's teach the world that beauty, power, and truth can still sit at the same table, because how you speak is how you lead. And how you lead shapes the legacy you leave behind. I want you to know that until the next time, and I'll be coming to you the first of every month, to speak your light, to speak your truth, to speak your power, and fly high, as high as you can, always, always seeking the light with love and wisdom and truth. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Leaders in Light, Love, and Legacy. You notice how I chuckle every time I say that. I love that title. That's why. I am Joy Ruffen, and it's always my honor to be your guide and companion on this journey. Because as your minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakenings, if today's conversation stirred something deep within you, don't let it stop here. You are the eagle. There's so much more waiting right here for you. Visit me on my website, joyruffen.com, and connect with me personally. When I say don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, don't. It's called Fashioning Femininity, Style, and Truth. Truth is a big word for me, and one of my loving VAs helped me to come up with that title. So for more conversations, insights, and style with substance, join me, because we are about change. And do I have to share with you that change is one of the words that unnerves so many people? But we're seeking your integrity, your loyalty, the honor of you, the transparency of you, to be shared in love with those who need your wisdom and your light. Whether you're drawn to leadership, style, divine femininity, truth, or simply all of them in the power of living as a bold, courageous person, there will always be something fresh, fiery, and soul-stirring here waiting for you. Because we're going to gather every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fave Unite Radio. And we can't wait to welcome you back. I say, my League of Eagles, stay rooted in grace, rise in power, and never stop soaring. You're here to fly high, away, but be among. So from my heart to yours, always, much, much love. Remember that style, truth, and the legacy we're building together was meant for us to stay and be together as a community, as a family. So until we meet again, and we will, stay radiant, stay ready, stay bold and courageous, and stay tuned. Much, much love, my Eagles. Until the next time, cheers.